So that was one sort of development, one course of development.
So this, you're saying the sitar actually helped open one of the doors to experimenting outside the standard norm of musical genres and elements?
Well, I was not so much, because that was a very rigid system.
Right.
You know, it's very, but I had this, I think because I was kept from, in a certain way, kept from music for so long that at a point I had to play everything.
Right.
And I gathered instruments as I could, as many as I could over the years. Whatever I would have in my pocket, I would spend on instruments. Go to a hock shop, and the saxophone was $65, the trombone was $30. I had $30, so I got a trombone. I wanted the saxophone, but of course it took a while to get the saxophones. But I got them all. So there was something about having to play all of the instruments that was a driving force. Now I don't have to play all of them, just most of them.
Right, just most of them. Right, exactly. So you're still playing a lot of string instruments in your performances currently, and I don't remember seeing you play too many wind instruments. So are you taking a break from that, or do you just go through phases? Or?
I'm pretty much, I haven't played the saxophone much for years, and I rarely play the flute anymore. Once in a while I've taken it over to Ashby for the drum circle and play the flute with the drummers, and that's sort of fun to drive the flute around, but I'm not, the cello and violin and voice has taken me up lately. The vibraphone I played for many years, and which was a San Francisco acquisition 40 years ago, and carried it all across the country and all that. It got to the point I just wasn't playing it anymore, and somebody should play it, and so I don't play that much anymore, nor the piano. I suddenly took up playing the guitar again, which I hadn't played for many years either, but I found this guitar, or it sort of fell out of the sky into my arms, an amplified classical guitar. It had the pickup built into the bridge, and I said, I wonder what's like this. I put this through my pedals, and it goes,
oh, there you go.
I said, this is the sound I've been looking for, like pushing a piano down the stairs.
Excellent.
So I have enough.
Enough instruments.
Yeah, right at the moment.
Were there any non-musical influences that have had an impact on you sonically?
Well, dance and art, visual art, for one. Yeah. Yet, at a point in my recovery from alcoholism, I was in a big warehouse space in Detroit, and I was trying to gain the thread of my art after about a year into recovery, and I was making these terrible, terrible drawings. They were really dumb and ugly, and I had loaded the place with all kinds of pieces of wood to carve and musical instruments. I had most of the recorder family, bass, keyboards, the vibraphone, of course, and lots of stuff. And my drawing was just awful. So somebody was telling me about graphic compositions, one of the artists in this building, and so I began to try to make graphic compositions, to make these notes, and it atomized the drawing and gave it life, and was a way. So trying to make compositions brought me to life in drawing,
Right.
And then the drawings brought life to the music, brought an interesting kind of approach to the music. And so drawing and painting for me have always been related to music. And of course dance, and finally I got connected with some dancers. I was looking to work with some dancers at one point, and got connected in Detroit with some dancers, and was playing the vibraphone over in the corner for these dance classes, and then in a contact improv class I was playing for that, and I said, oh wait a minute, this is really interesting. So
you get out.
got out of the corner, got into dancing, and so the dance has been important too. So they're all sort of
Intertwined.
flow together, and in when I had a series of classical piano lessons, I really liked the Hannon exercises because it was like a dance for the fingers on the piano, and I like so there's a definite dance aspect to playing music for me that's very important. The physicality of the instruments. That's why I like the grand piano, because it's very physical, and the cello, and even the electronic instruments I play, which are the infrared sensitive things. That's a dance too. It's a hand dance because of working with that. It's I don't think I could really do this kind of thing on the laptop. We're going to
right.
I have to
you have to work with
feel it. So
yeah.
So they're all related to me.
Speaking of that, you'll be showing folks one of your inventions at Touch the Gear on July 18th over at the Community Music Center. And that, tell us more about that invention, speaking of working with your hands.
Silver Park is one of a series of invented instruments, the first one being when I was 3 or 4 years old.
Right.
And then later I was repairing stringed instruments for a while and got really sick of it. I'd had originally this vision of the luthier as something like a Rembrandt painting. It looked like this, you know. I didn't realize that it was a living thing. And so the living problem was like, oh man, I got a gig on Friday, can I have my accent, you know, da 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 da. And after a while they all became like junk guitars, and I was just sick of it. But I was living in this warehouse, and I had taken a bunch of records from my brother's Folkways collection, and he was the Folkways rep in Detroit, in that area, for a long time. So I had all this stuff, the old things, and I had this Kalahari Bushman recordings. They're playing a thumb piano with dried berries attached to it, and sort of split keys. Some were watery, and everybody passed it all around. Everybody was equal, or at least the men were equal, and there was no hierarchy. And so I went into this big revolt against European everything. Craftsmanship, tonality, technique, and I had a wooden box like so, and had 6 violin tuning pegs. So I drilled 6 big holes in one end and 6 little holes in the other end, and I had this bag full of guitar strings and strung it up with 6 strings, put a stick across in the middle, and played it on both sides. And that was the box tar. Then I carved this big piece of maple into sort of a teardrop shape, and that was the 39-string teardrop. And then outside of an old iron foundry in Detroit, I found this big form with these curves in it, which is a core mold, and I strung that up with 89 strings, the 89-string foundry form with bridges in different places, so there was some 250 different places to play it. So that was some of my invented instruments.